It's a Sunday afternoon in the south of France. The big prize is on then for the 62nd World Championship French Grand Prix and the 18th to take place here at the circuit Paul Ricard. Welcome along to the French Grand Prix, which could well be the last French Grand Prix for the foreseeable future. It is round 12 as we head into part 2 of this Formula One season in 2022, and it takes place over 53 laps of this 3.63 mile circuit. There are 15 corners, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, and from pole to the first braking zone at turn 1, a dash of 413 metres for Max Verstappen or Charles Leclerc to try and get ahead or stay ahead and sort out the race from there on in. The 6th time this season that Verstappen and Leclerc line up on the front row. In 2021, Verstappen won from pole, a lap and a half from the end of the race. Max Verstappen on a 2-stop strategy got past Lewis Hamilton. Here we go to see his teammate Sergio Perez up against Lewis Hamilton's former teammate Valtteri Bottas into Scene corner, and a nice pass from Perez, who starts third today. No one's ever won from that spot on the grid at Paul Ricard before, and there could be action throughout this grid today. In 2021, Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris having this particular duel going on through turns 13 and 14. Here are the tyres for this afternoon, coping with track temperatures well above 51 degrees. The C4 tyre, unlikely we'll see much of that. The medium tyre could be the favoured starting tyre. The hard tyre will be the favoured race tyre, and some decent pace shown by those who practiced it on Friday. The crowd then have flocked here. It's a 70,000 sellout capacity crowd here, and this is the starting grid for the French Grand Prix. Kevin Magnussen and Carlos Sainz taking extra engine penalty grid spots, and ahead of them, I should say, Nicholas Latifi in 18th, Mick Schumacher in 17th. Guan Yu Zhou starts 16th, Lance Stroll 15th on the grid today, and then 14th, it's Pierre Gasly, one of 2 French runners in this race. Alexander Albon alongside him, Q2 for the 3rd time in 4 races. Sebastian Vettel starts 12th, where he did last year and finished in the points. Valtteri Bottas 11th out in Q2 for the 6th race in a row. Esteban Ocon, the other French driver, will start 10th alongside Daniel Ricciardo, moving up places because of Sainz and Magnussen's penalties. Yuki Tsunoda starts 8th and Fernando Alonso 7th for Alpine. George Russell 6th alongside Lando Norris, and ahead of those, Lewis Hamilton, who becomes the latest driver to reach the 300 club today. It's 300 Grand Prix starts for him, Sergio Perez alongside, and then the front row of Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc. They share that front row for the 6th time this season. It's a 7th pole in 2022. Kevin Magnussen scored points for the first time, starting 18th or lower. Is it going to be Verstappen or Leclerc that gets away the best? It's lights out and away we go. And Leclerc reacts very well, but Verstappen already alongside him into that chicane. Lewis Hamilton comes 3rd, then Sergio Perez and Fernando Alonso, George Russell, and then Lando Norris. And there is a spin, and it is Yuki Tsunoda in the AlphaTauri, spun around, and going off the track there is Lance Stroll. He's almost wheel-to-wheel with his teammate Sebastian Vettel. Esteban Ocon gets a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision and relegating Yuki Tsunoda to the back of the field. It's a flat corner into Scene. You keep your foot pinned down on that throttle. Here comes Max Verstappen on Charles Leclerc. There's barely a few car lengths in it. Into Le Beausset we go. Verstappen's going to look round the outsides. The crowd cheering both drivers through here, but you can see how much better the Ferrari is through that particular corner, and Verstappen just had to back off. Max Verstappen slowing down and pressing his pit limiter 60 kilometers an hour because of that tight pit lane entrance. They go to work on the Red Bull tyres. It was a very nice stop of 2.4 seconds. Deserves a round of applause. your overall loss is about 28 seconds. That's why it was so critical to get past Norris so he could push in clean air. And who's that gone off?
Leclerc.
Charles Leclerc is out of the race. And for the third time this season, Charles Leclerc, when leading a race, won't go on to finish it.
He's been suffering with rear degradation. It's gone in hard. I'm surprised he wasn't able to reverse out, actually. He's obviously been stuck under the tyres. It's not Tech Pro barrier here at this old school track.
Are you okay?
I got a good photo. No!
Lost the rear in the middle of the corner. He's just been given a target lap time as well. That's an unsafe release as well.
Carlos Sainz has got a 5-second time penalty. Bernd Mailander on duty for the 420th time as a safety car driver for the FIA. He's going to go back into the pit lane and we can get green flags and go racing again. And it's Max Verstappen that leads this time around from Lewis Hamilton and then Sergio Perez and George Russell. Red Bull, Mercedes, it's like last year, all over again out on the track. Carlos Sainz is past Fernando Alonso. We could see that coming, and I dare say Fernando Alonso could too. It's the Haas. There's Mick Schumacher on the outside. Zhou Guanyu,
Nice.
Just clips the back of the Haas. The advantage Sainz has got on those medium tyres, extra grip. They're going to go wheel to wheel into scene here. George Russell's not giving this one up, but Carlos Sainz has that extra speed to go blasting round the outside and up into 4th place. That's off. That's Latifi in the Williams. He was going for the move, wasn't he, on the Haas? Oh, there was contact. That's what happened to Latifi. Magnussen has come into the pits. We've lost 2 cars in this race, Yuki Tsunoda and Charles Leclerc. Here's his chance, look, because he's right where he was when he overtook George Russell. He's put the pace back on again, and he's pulled out from behind the slipstream of Sergio Perez, and he's now going wheel to wheel through scene. This is his chance.
Box, Carlos, box, speed confirmed.
Not now, not now, not now.
Why were they telling him to pit right then? Carlos Sainz down the main straight, fighting ahead, staying ahead.
Incredible job. George Russell,
George Russell on
inside.
Sergio Perez, there's contact. Perez goes off at the chicane. George Russell and Perez making contact once more. So they've now made a decision to pit Carlos Sainz. So Ferrari decided, yeah, we will bring you in eventually. Lap 53 is coming up in about 10 laps time. You're in 9th now.
Have they not just thrown away a 3rd place?
Zhou Guanyu is stopped by the side of the track. Are we going to get a virtual safety car on Sergio Perez for when the virtual safety car ends fully?
The screen now, on you go, and I think he's been caught sleeping, Sergio Perez,
He
and Luke
might
Russell's
be.
challenging him.
George Russell's ahead of him. Only took him about 10 metres there. And George Russell is ahead of Sergio Perez. 3 laps to go, and Russell's put himself up into the podium places. And no one has managed to get ahead of Max Verstappen after he took the lead following Charles Leclerc's crash earlier. Perez makes a late lunge onto George Russell, will stick behind him. Max Verstappen started on the front row, sees the checkered flag for the 2nd year in a row, wins the French Grand Prix, and was that contact between the 2 Aston Martins? It might well have been. And comes home to take victory number 27 in his career. So we had back-to-back wins for Ferrari. They were mounting a challenge to Red Bull, but that challenge faded somewhat in the sunshine and the heat here at Paul Ricard. For the French Grand Prix, it's back-to-back wins for Max Verstappen. The smiles are his and Red Bull's this Sunday afternoon.
Once I was in the lead to the end, it was all about managing the tyres. But you could see in the beginning it was very close between myself and Charles. Fortunately, of course, he dropped out. But yeah, I'm of course very happy with the win. But we also know there's still a bit of work to do.
I couldn't really be much happier. Of course, if we won, that would be another step. But definitely didn't expect that result today. I was praying and hoping we could fight for a podium, like a 3rd. But can't believe we have a 2nd. This is huge for us.
It was a bit all over the place during the whole VSC, so I knew that if I timed it perfectly and I got the run on him, I might have an opportunity. And I think he was kind of braking to make sure he was still above the delta time while I was accelerating, and it gave me that run to overtake him. So that was really satisfying.
I just got it through with this virtual safety car because it said he was going to end up out of turn 9. So I went for it, but then it didn't end up, and then it ended up into turn 13. So I don't know what they were doing with it.
It's my fault, and if I keep doing mistakes like this, then I deserve to not win the championship. So the level is very high this year. I'm performing at a high level, but if I keep doing those mistakes, then it's pointless to be at high.